Hey, I'm Brody Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's after dark. It's more kind of like after lunch, if you will. The Sharks able to score the touchdown here, 7-4 victorious over the Edmonton Oilers. And with that, of course, we say,
hey now.
That's right. Hey now. I'm AJ_Strong. How are you? That's right. I've actually changed my name. It's on my driver's license. The underscore is there, people. Joining me today, Eric Lundy.
What's up, everybody? I guess the laundry is in full force today. And, a touchdown and 4 points for Erik Karlsson, a guy who spells his name the right way.
Oh, brother. Then we're also joined by someone who got something new for both Christmas and the birthday. It's Puck Guy, and in fact, we even have reveal music. Here we go. That's right. Puck Guy 14 has actually gotten himself a microphone. Can you believe it? An actual quality mic.
I had images of 2001: A Space Odyssey with the big, monolith and, the thing coming down and it's Eric's microphone coming down.
It's funny because I apparently sound clearer. I also have the infamous Scarlet that similar to what AJ has, so watch out for my little sound bed coming soon. But glad to be coming in nice and clear now, folks.
I didn't know AOL made microphones.
Oh, was it really?
I'm waiting for it to go. Hello, Dave. We can actually hear you now.
Oh boy, really?
Yes. All right. So let's get into this one. This is game 4 of 5 at home for Edmonton, and it did not get any easier. This is now their 5th straight loss. After going 8-2 under Hitchcock, and starting under Hitchcock, if you remember, Hitchcock's first game behind the bench for Edmonton was versus the Sharks. Since then, they've gone 10-7-1, including today's loss. Makes you wonder what the hell happens. You go 8-2 and then 0-5. Hey, to the hell now. The Sharks get 2 off the post in the first 8 minutes. It should have given you an idea that the Sharks were on target in this one, starting early, a little sleepy first 5 minutes. But we start, of course, with the most, the most controversy in this game, which would be first a goal by Ratty, but then saying, oh, no, it was McDavid. Landy, was that a goal?
Well, it's really difficult to tell, right? Because on that first Ratty shot, we could see, I think it was not until maybe 2 or 3 minutes after the goal, the subsequent goal, that we got the really good camera angle from the net cam. And the net cam showed that it was kind of twirling on its side. And man, you could really make a case that Martin Jones kept that on the line. So, you've got that working for you. It's kind of there you go. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You see how the puck is still not fully over the threshold.
Well, see, the thing is, though, for me, the puck is on its side, and that's all the way over, because the underneath, the puck is, it's curved. So if you saw that same shot from the bottom of the pipe, that's all the way in.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying. So this is kind of where the gray area was, right? Because I think later on in the broadcast they ended up saying that they didn't score the goal on this shot. What ended up being the counting goal was McDavid popping it back in afterwards.
But
that was the official.
But how could that be if that was the whole thing that baked everybody's noodle was, well, Randy Hahn talked about it, saying, how can that be a goal if they initially gave it to Ratty but then they had to go and look at it? So at that point, they already say, oh, okay, it's Ratty, but now it's all of a sudden McDavid's?
Well, right. And so that's kind of where we get into the whole intent to blow kind of thing. And if the ref, waves it a goal, does that automatically end play? If it does, then that shouldn't have been a goal. I mean, semantically, whether or not you want to say that crossed the line, that's really a debate in itself. But what they were saying was it wasn't a goal on that. It was a goal on the subsequent put in by McDavid. So letter of the law being the way that it is, it shouldn't have counted if they're saying that it was McDavid was the one that was scoring on that play. So
and here's the explanation, which is fantastic. This had everybody saying, wait, what? At 6:28 of the first period in the Sharks-Oilers game, the Situation Room initiated a video review to further examine if Ty Ratty's shot completely crossed the San Jose goal line. Video review was unable to determine if Ratty's shot completely crossed the San Jose goal line. However, Connor McDavid's shot did completely cross the San Jose goal line. Good goal, Edmonton. Wait, what?
Right, exactly.
What?
And so Andy Mann brings up a great point. The ref pointed at the line and called the first shot a goal. That ends the play, and that's the letter of the law.
Exactly. So how can
it be a goal? Again, the Sharks, they say that the bounces even out. We saw that last game where, a puck goes up into the netting and you get a goal off of that. You know what? I mean, it's karmic retribution, you could say at this point. There's bigger fish to fry than this, but the Sharks immediately come back and just a great just sequence, that 3-on-1 where you get Donskoy potting the goal right after that, that kind of timeout where they're looking at the goal. Really great bounce back shift by the Sharks, guys.
And you start to see the chemistry build up with that nice creativity play. Donskoy is known to get some of those creative plays going, and just have Hurdle and Erik Karlsson, again, great name, just just set it up, easily set up. The defense for Edmonton, you got to take advantage for. I think Bake said it in the Keys on K-Fox earlier today. They just bang it home, and that was sweet and great response back. That's one of the things that we were worried about early in the season is the response the Sharks had against these questionable, frustrating goals. Back to you, AJ.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, that was. It just makes you wonder, like, how do you? Okay, whatever. It's one of those things. Had the Sharks lost this game, that's definitely something we all would have been. If they had lost by a goal, we'd all been talking about this from till the cows come home. But a mere what is that? 16 seconds later, Donskoy would deke Talbot. Talbot, not the best game today by any stretch. But Donskoy scoring in a second straight game, coming from EK65 and Hurdle. So that tied it up. Obviously, lickety split for all the hype and all the fans at Rogers. They were probably like, okay, we're in the, and 16 seconds later, okay, and it's same old Oilers. So there you go, 10-13. So just about 3.5 minutes later, Tomas Hurdle scoring in his third straight game, playing the center position, by the way, from Burns and Karlsson. This one was, you don't want to sit there and go, well, it was a kick saving a beauty, but it was still a sweet goal. And if I could share it with you, I would.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of going over that goal, you've got Tomas Hurdle, who is really starting to build himself up as a net front presence kind of guy, a guy that's really hard to push off his skates. You just really love to see that compete level from him. And he's taken the challenge of becoming a center and becoming a good two-way center, and he's responded. And this is something a little bit of an added dimension to his game that we all wanted to see, right? I mean, he was drafted as a center, and the Sharks had these expectations that he's going to be a center. He should be a center, top line, second line, but that's what he should be. And throughout his career, we'd seen the flashes of it, but now we're really seeing a kid come into his own. He's almost on a point per game pace now. Just growing by leaps and bounds. Evander Kane and Donskoy really have a great chemistry, and you add Hurdle to that, it's a great line. And when you've got 1, 2, 3 of Logan, Thornton, and Hurdle, that's really hard to defend against. And while you don't really like splitting up Logan and Hurdle, it's nice to see that Radil can slot in and play a good, a good kind of grinding, go get the puck kind of game that helps out Timo and Couture. So, all up and down the lineup, really happy. But man, that Hurdle line really stood out to me tonight.
Let's take a look at it here. I mean, you got to appreciate it. Just, and Hurdle cleans up the trash.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And on the doorstep too, which is another thing we talked about early in the season that the team was doing, was having that net threat presence and banging home some rebounds as well, and it paid dividends.
Because I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of Hurdle at sea, not a fan of that line. I thought it sucked last game, so nice to see them get paid off, and it does give the Sharks a different look, which they could clearly use. But that's where it was at 10:13. At 12:25, Kajula. It's funny. Well, it depends on what broadcast you're listening to.
That's true.
Kajula trips. Braun, nothing really becomes a power play for the Sharks. Did not look the best today. After one, faceoffs 44% for San Jose, 56 for Edmonton. Shots even at 12 apiece. And then at 1:20 of the second period, you tell me, that's kind of like the NFL, that you make the call. Is this, a penalty, or is it not? But Broziak comes in, drills Sorensen after he lets go of the puck. I think Kerr's called that a bang-bang.
So I think by the letter of the law, from what I've been told and what I've heard from the Merrick and Elliot Friedman podcast, is that you've got about 1/6 of a second after the puck leaves your stick to be hit.
Hold on. And if you're in the chat, here is Patrick about to tell you why we're all wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from Elliot Friedman, though, that he's got it on good authority that if the player is hit, 1/6 of a second afterwards, you're okay. But anything after that, so let's say it's a second after or 2 seconds after the puck is off your stick, you're going to get that play looked at. And I think, I think it's fair to say that he should be taking he should be looking over his shoulder on that hit. It's a reckless play, and we saw Erik Karlsson get busted for it. Unfortunately, we didn't see it when it was OEL, Oliver Ekman-Larsson on LeBanc, but we'll see.
Well, Sorensen would come back 12 minutes later. What did you think of the hit, puck guy?
It is pretty close to bang bang, but it's kind of in a gray area where you can be a little questionable about it. However, the breaks sometimes just don't go your way, and you just have to fight them off. You hope Sorensen's okay. Obviously, he was out. I would assume he went under concussion protocol just to play it safe. But good to see him out there, and came back later in the game to finish it off.
Yeah, this to me was just this was not the worst that the officials did today. I think we can all agree on that.
No, it was horribly officiated. I felt like there was a lot of things that they were letting go. Felt like there were a lot of things that could have been a little bit more on the questionable side that got called. So, the one that's the most egregious, though, is that Weidman hit on Timo Meyer. Weidman takes a high hit, basically gets his stick up on Meyer and in the face.
Well, he took 2 penalties in like 8 seconds.
Yeah, and then comes back and trips Thornton, like you were saying, AJ, about 8 seconds later. And so it's like, come on, guys. They're looking right at the play, and they don't call that. It was game management for it. Yeah, exactly.
It was not great. But following the Sorensen hit at 6:38, Couture. Oh, my God. You talk about a smart play. A very smart play. Couture sees that he's in too tight, needs to give Jumbo some space to make this pass, comes in tight to Talbot, then backs up, boom, finds space, puts it in to put the Sharks up 3-1. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. That was a solid goal.
And
who's figuring out how to play hockey again?
I mean, shoot, it was a nice setup for Jumbo. Essentially in his office, or one of his offices behind the net. Couture creates some space from Connor not a defenseman. And I mean, shoot, at this point, I'd rather have Brendan Dillon on defense than Connor McDavid.
Hey, Brendan Dillon's doing pretty well.
Okay? That's my point. And that's my point. That's my point, is that Couture sets a space, takes advantage of McDavid going, and bangs it home. Now, how that puck went in, I don't know, because there was not much on that side to bury it home, and that was kind of a backbreaker.
Connor not a defenseman.
But I honestly, guys, Sleepy Mofo, kind of going back to the Timo hit real quick. Weidman thinking Timo was the Uber driver.
Ooh, ouch.
Nice.
Ouch. Oh, 4 paws up. A New Jersey? No, this was last season?
Yeah, practice.
Yeah.
Last season practice.
Yeah, warm up jersey.
Yeah. So, Weidman would get called for holding Pavelski. Then, Meyer would take a stick to the face, ref watching, no call. That's one of those ones that just kind of makes you kind of go, well, I mean, I don't know. I can understand it in real time. Maybe it's just that Meyer grabs his grill, so I don't know. But I can understand. I can understand them missing that one. Like you're in real time, you're not sure totally what happened there. That's all. But as Landy was alluding to, after that, just 12 seconds later, Weidman would trip Jumbo. So at least, he got 2 penalties for the price of 1. But later in this, and here's one that made me this was, you know what? Again, I'll forgive you missing the Meyer call. That one, I'll forgive you. How do you miss EK being tripped by Draisaitl right here? Draisaitl
Canadian bias
because of it, and then
Thank you.
Canadian bias. Sorry,
you gotta take care of that cold, man.
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah.
No, it's one of those. They let him play, I guess, and you just hope that it stays consistent, because if that gets tripped up and it's a Shark going to the box, we're on here having a conniption about it. And honestly, if that went the other way for the Oilers, I'm sure they'd be having a conniption too. Thankfully, didn't affect the outcome of the game completely.
All right, people, she's right here. She's literally right here. Not even kidding you, right here. Right there. Right there. I don't know what's going on with everybody here.
Tron, just calm down, man.
Yeah. So 1845 of the second. This essentially the backbreaker of the game. And this is fantastic. This whip around from Goodrow that, excuse me. Whip around from Good. If I swear to God, I can make this work. Whip around from Goodrow, finding EK up high, just slamming it through. At first, I thought Donskoy probably got a part of that, but evidently not. EK puts it in. EK, what was it? 4-point night tonight? Hello?
A goal and 3 assists.
Boy, suspension makes a guy cranky.
Yeah, he's kind of as hot as the sun right now. Not really. He had a point streak going into the suspension. I think it was like an 8-game point streak or something like that. It extends it to 9 if you don't count the suspension, and has a 4-point night. Guys, he is now. A few days ago he was 9th, 8th on the team in scoring. Now he's up to 6th. He's got 30 points in 38 games. I mean, hot damn, he's making up for lost time.
Yeah. But going back to the refs for a second, just because it's in my notes, it's like the refs blow calls in 2 straight games. First, you have the Ratty goal that's essentially then given to McDavid. And then we haven't even mentioned the Burns goal from the last game that everybody says went off the net. So not a good look for the refs over the last 2 games. After 2 periods face-offs at 50-50, this is the stat that I'm excited about. In the second period, shots on goal, San Jose 16, Edmonton 7. If you've heard me before, you've heard me 1,000 times that this season the Sharks have basically got their asses handed to them on the shot clock in the second period. So nice to see them more than double up the Edmonton Oilers in this one. And we move on to the third. Melker tipping a burn shot. Oh my Lord. This was so sweet. This was so sweet. I mean, just from the blue line, Melker just gives it a little taparoo and ends up behind Talbot. The Milkman delivered twice today, Landy, but that was the first one.
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy's got 6 goals now, and quietly putting together a nice little season on the 4th line. I think
it feels like Melker Karlsson has more goals in the last 2 games than he had all of last season.
Yeah, exactly. And adding the playmaking ability of LeBanc on that 4th line just gives it an extra dimension. I really like Barclay Goodrow's game. Seems like he's really seeing the ice well now. Is able to kind of get a good idea of when to spread the puck out, when to go to the net. Basically LeBanc acting as the playmaking pivot on that line, but he's not a center. So it's really good to see that the 4th line's got some jump, and it can create some matchup problems when you put a really skilled guy on that line. Guys, I wanted to go back quickly to the back end. Right now, sitting almost at 41 games, this blue line, 97 combined points.
Just imagine 97. If Vlasic and Braun weren't shitting the bed this season.
No.
Well, but as we say that, I mean, Braun's got 9 points and Vlasic's got 10. I mean, Brendan Dillon's got 10 as well. So, 97 points coming from the back end. That is kind of what we thought we were going to get with Erik Karlsson being, Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns being on there. I mean,
and it didn't start off too well, mind you, with Karlsson's struggles and everything. So,
yeah, I mean, we could be looking at 2 players, 2 defensemen pushing 60+ points at the end of the season, guys, at the role that they're on.
Since the Montreal game, if you remember, that was the game that prior to PDB and Doug Wilson, both player-only meetings, whatever. Since then, Erik Karlsson has like 13 points, possibly 14, because I didn't factor in everything from today. Possibly 14 points since that Montreal game. The only game he doesn't have a point in was the game following Montreal versus Carolina. Since then, he's had a point in every single game since then. Many of them multi-point games. So it's holy hell. And then Barclay Goodrow, 4 assists in his last 2 games. You got Donskoy scoring in consecutive games. Again, we can't lose our minds over this. We're talking about the Sharks, the last 2 games. Oh yeah, okay, they got a couple wins after, losing 3 straight. You can't get too crazy about beating teams that are outside of the playoffs. Now, if they were to do this consecutively against Tampa Bay and Winnipeg, then I'd be like, oh, yeah, let's start planning the parade.
And you're getting scoring all over the lineup. Landy just talked about the defense scoring. You talk about Melker Carlson, Barkley Goodrow, Logan Couture factored in today as well. Jumbo, this is. I hate to sound like Tomas Earl, but this is dream. I mean, this is what you want. This is what you want a full round. But yeah, you're right. Don't get crazy, but it's nice to see. Now, let's hope they can be consistent about it.
This is the most complete offensive game because there were some issues that I saw defensively.
I'd go back to that Philadelphia game.
Besides the Philadelphia game, that's exactly where I was going, AJ. This is the second most possession dominant game I think I've seen the Sharks play besides that Philly game. And look, guys, I mean, when you've got Marcus Sorensen having 14 points, 7 goals, 7 assists, you've got Evander Kane, you want a little bit more production from him. He's only got 24 points, but him and LeBanc both have 24 points. I mean, Pavelski and Hurdle are just bringing it every night. And Logan's just taking his game to another stratosphere. He's going to be like a 78-point player.
Gen X in the chat. Let's not get crazy, and then we proceed to get crazy for the next 10 minutes. Yes, I like that.
But
dude,
really, is it?
Calm down.
I mean, let's go over this though. I mean, honestly,
Jesus Christ, we're going to be here for 20 minutes.
No. I just quickly, is it crazy though? Because we're 1 point out of being the best in the West, right? I mean, if we look at just straight up raw points, we're not talking about.
Dude, at one point, Vancouver was second in the Pacific. Slow your roll, pal.
Yeah, but we're at the halfway. We're at the halfway point, right?
All right. Yeah, well, there's still 41 more games to roll, dude. Or 42.
Believe me,
42.
There's plenty of times for them to screw this up. but
yeah,
just
F
the
you, Gen X.
Sharks.
Oh, Gen X. F you. That was all done on purpose, you son of a... Okay, anyway. So, later in the third, Couture. Oh, my God. Somebody explain to me what the hell Cam Talbot is doing out here. Somebody explain to me why that happened. But Kane rolls it around. Oh, and again, Couture finding space and throws it in. I on the shorty, no less. I still want to know why Talbot is up there on the half point. Dude, that was like Marty Turco and Steve Shields would be proud. Steve Shields would be so proud.
I was going to say Urbe, but Jones almost pulled that one.
Oh, my God. Oh, that was so bad.
But
brother, go ahead.
But you take advantage of those bad breaks. I mean, that's where you come in on him because I guarantee you, now that that's in his head, you don't think he's going to roll out a little bit, quicker next time. I mean, shoot. But Kane, great hustle. I think that hit early in the game kind of woke him up and got things going. Couture bangs it in, and it's a shorty. Boom. After that, nothing.
Dude, Gen X, what the hell is Cam Talbot doing in the crease? Out of the crease, on the ice, in a uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little surprised Koskinen didn't get the start, to be honest with you. I think surprised that Koskinen didn't get into this game at some point, to be honest.
Well, he's still battling something else. Although he's playing backup, he's still kind of battling.
Still probably would have been a better option than Talbot.
Laurel, Cam Talbot, that bitch.
Yeah, I think that might be the direct inverse of Cam Ward, that bitch. 10:40, Khalib Jones. It wouldn't be a Sharks game without the Sharks giving a player their very first NHL goal. So Khalib Jones, congratulations. You have joined a very large and diverse group. Holy hell. Good on you. You know what?
Small fish in a big pond.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you, buddy. It's not like there aren't a billion other hockey players in that club.
And that's Seth Jones's brother, so good on him. The brothers coming together.
The
poor guy, he wants to celebrate his goal, but he's like, yeah, we're only down by 4. Yeah, right.
Put your head down.
You feel so bad for the kid because, you just scored your first NHL goal, and you're like,
yeah. While you're getting the crap kicked out of you. So following that goal, about 3.5 minutes later, Melker would deliver twice, and this is fantastic. I mean, off a great feed or a great face-off feed from EK65, from EK and Goodrow. I mean, you have to appreciate this one, guys. I mean, just Goodrow gets a great feed, finds EK, who just comes down around the corner, sweeps it right back out. Boom. That's the second goal of the game, by the way, that was essentially scored from behind the net. Like, that's where it all started from. First, Jumbo to Couture, then that one. Hopefully this is something we see happen with the Sharks going forward, because God knows that they saw a lot of success coming from those. Then the bad part of this, of course, being that the Oilers scored 3 goals in the final 8 minutes of this. I mean, you have Khalib Jones, final 10. Khalib Jones, then Draisaitl would absolutely pile on Justin Braun. And then McDavid, gets one with like 6 ticks left on the clock, and of course.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, good for you. McDavid pads his stats. But again, Goodrow 4 assists in his last 2 games. Dylan leading plus minus with a 17. I get, I maybe playing with EK65 might have a scotch to do with that. Just a scotch.
I'm going to make a crazy bold prediction.
Oh, shit.
That Brendan Dillon's going to have a career year in points.
Okay.
Hey now.
And for the Edmonton Oilers, this one's for you.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
So,
thank you, Jim Mora.
Now, after tonight, this afternoon, the one number, I'm starting to look at the numbers here. The one number that I'm not happy about is the Sharks are 2 for their last 17 tries on the power play. You would have thought, if I remember correctly, I think it said Edmonton was like, 18th? No, it wasn't that good. It was less than that. It was somewhere in the 20s on the PK, and the Sharks go 0 for 3. They had a couple decent looks here and there, but no kind of sustained pressure whatsoever. You would have hoped you've seen something like that. But shots on goal, 40 shots on goal. The Sharks finally starting to get the shot counter back up where they used to be. 26 for the Oilers. Ended up being 57% in the circle for the Oilers. Oilers do go 0 for 1, so the Sharks at least keep their PK percentage up. 33-24 in the way of hits, for Edmonton. Yeah, okay, whoop-de-doo. That's going to happen. You're going to start hitting people because you don't have the puck. Oilers block 10, Sharks 6, giveaways 12 for the Sharks, 10 for the Oilers. We get into the numbers here real quick. Justin Braun, a -2, leading the team. Did you have a crappy effing game or what? Holy crap. Vlasic, his score line looks like it makes me hungry for donuts because it's almost all zeros. Jesus.
Guys, and as we talk about plus minus and the defense pair, I mean, San Jose, this is the one thing that bothers me, AJ. I know you're really worried about the power play, but I'm worried about the goals against, guys. I mean, it's starting to creep up. It's 2.92 a game.
Sharks took their foot off the gas. When you score a touchdown, you're going to get lazy. The last 2 goals were just, guys were just like, dude, we got this,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I mean, they're tied with Tampa Bay for, the 17th. So they're on the other side of the halfway line. So, they're 16th in the league, but that's something that's kind of creeping up, and I'm keeping a close eye on that, especially when the goals for were kind of a little bit lacking. So that's the thing that I worry about. You keep seeing these minuses from Vlasic and Braun, and you're starting to wonder, like, okay, are we going to see a change there? Are we going to see maybe one of those two sit for a game, take a look from the press box, see a different perspective.
But that's the whole thing. Who are you going to replace them with?
Right. I mean,
you're going to replace him with Ryan, the guy whose ass was stapled to the bench last game, who only played like barely 6 minutes, or are you going to throw out Heed? I mean, that's the whole thing.
I mean, I thought Heed played really well when he had his shot. He had a goal, and that howitzer is just something that the Sharks don't have on the back end right now.
You watch. It's because Ryan and Heed are, the two guys that are stuck on the bench or that are stuck in the press box right now. And who's the forward that's stuck in the box right now? Is it Chartier again?
Chartier came up. He was called for the
oh, good for him.
Canada.
Okay, so let's be honest. Chartier probably going to go back down at some point rather soon because you got to rotate these guys. You can't have a guy getting cold for more than a few games. So I don't know. Maybe you reward Gambrell with another trip up. Maybe you say, hey, you know what? LeBanc is kind of not been great for a game or two. Donskoy, up until these last two games, hasn't been great. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we sit one of their asses down and look at Francis Perron?
Yeah, I mean, that's
a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that you also want to know what exactly do you have there. I mean, is it fool's
point
gold?
A game for the Cuda right now?
Yeah. I mean, is it fool's gold in the AHL, or is this a guy that can actually play and he's the forgotten piece in the trade?
Dude, up until today, he had more points with the Cuda than Erik Karlsson has with the Sharks. I mean, come on, man.
It should be known as the Francis Perron trade, not the Erik Karlsson trade.
Well, here's the really weird thing is that I just got a text. I'm not even sure who this is. I have no idea who I give my number to sometimes. It just says, Tron15C says, love the wind, you guys. I don't know what that part means. Maybe they mean win, not wind. But it says, why the half-ass effort the last 17 minutes of the third period and allow them 3 quick goals? Again, you're going to half-ass it when you have that significant of a lead. We've seen that time and time again. Credit to the Sharks. When they're up like 4-1, they didn't take their foot off the gas. They really didn't take the foot off the gas until it was like 6-2 with 8 minutes left. Then it was kind of like, okay, yeah, whatevs. And, they let in a couple of freebies. Again, it's one of those things where like McDavid padded his stat at the end where he got the goal at the end. Jones, of course, the team and Jones did themselves no favor with the save percentage and goals against average with those last couple. But it's one of those ones where, who cares about that if you're getting a W?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's too much to worry about there.
Oh, that came from Laurel. Oh, okay, cool.
But it's something that does creep in, and that's something you don't want them to keep reoccurring. I mean, what's the thing we've always said? Foot on gas. And yes, they annihilated these guys, but then you look at people are going to look at the score and like, oh, they just squeaked by and probably just got a couple empty netters. Now we'll make it 7-4. So
how many people have I given my phone number to?
I don't know.
Now somebody else is texting me, and all they did was they sent me a photo. This is the photo they sent me, and they just said, "Is this annoying?" This picture of Dean Lombardi holding the cup.
Yeah, it is effing annoying.
And the other photo that they sent, is this annoying? This picture of Sutter holding the cup. Oh, you know what? I guarantee you know whose phone number that is. I bet you that's Generation X.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh man, I want my 19 cents back for AJ not adding me as a contact. You know what? Then you don't get no more Kayla. Look, it's empty.
Oh boy.
Kayla giveth, Kayla taketh away.
Yeah. But you got to give it up for Erik Karlsson. I mean, comes back, diaper rash makes him cranky, man. Holy crap. Yeah, +5. I mean, like, holy hell. Have a game, brother. And the defense numbers are really balanced out really well. You think about it, Burns last game played almost 30 minutes. Tonight didn't even touch 21. Vlasic almost touches 23 for some godforsaken reason. But in Shimmick, 15.5 tonight. You gotta like that. I'm a little I can't fall in love with the numbers for the forwards enough today to do because it's really balanced out. The only one that sticks out, of course, is Sorensen at 950, but that's because he was in the dressing room for half the second.
Right.
And it seemed like they were rolling lines at will, and they did not mind the matchup of McDavid against the fourth. Thornton's line looked absolutely fantastic. Hurdle, like we said again, Couture. I mean, guys, it just up and down the lineup, they just really were firing on all cylinders. And like I said before, this is kind of what we thought we were going to get when we were going to have Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson on the back end. Basically, forwards, you know what, get into position. You're going to have the two best, offensive defensemen shooting the puck up.
Dude, okay, let's get to the chat real fast. Gen X saying, "You effing called me, AJ. How do you not know it's me?" I'm sorry, I don't write them all down. Laurel very upset that Kayla left to go get something to eat. We'll talk about the Dallas Stars in a moment. Let's see here. Everyone else that has AJ's number, text him now, please. Thank you so much for that. That's all I need. That's all I need. And Steve asking, will the Oilers fire 2 head coaches in 1 year? No.
I am not going to be surprised, though, if we don't see Peter Chiarelli, if they don't pull this out in the next few games. I'm saying,
not, but yeah, Chiarelli. I can see Chiarelli gone after this season. Drew, I thought last time we talked to Drew, he kind of speculated that if T-Mac got the Spanish Archer, Chiarelli would be part of that. I'm surprised that he wasn't, but no, they're going to give Hitchcock enough time. I don't know who the next goalie is in the farm system for Edmonton, but holy hell, you might want to make sure your phone's on.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, it's not great. Peter Chiarelli has made a mockery of that, of that roster. You're basically pissing away the best years of the best player on the NHL. It's inexcusable. And honestly, their winger depth is horrible. They had a winger. They had the Hart Trophy winger, and they got rid of him. And it's just, this team is just mired in mediocrity, and I just feel bad for the fans.
It's not like they don't have talent. I mean, dude, right. Obviously you can sit there and Connor McJesus, blah blah blah, but dude, RNH, Kajula, Draisaitl, Cassian. Oh well, okay. Cassian still has a little bit of that Vancouver stink on him, but I mean,
Clefbaum,
yeah, Darnell Nurse. I mean, this team they've got talent, but it just seems to be one of the things that they haven't figured out is they don't know how to build from the net out. They cannot find they can't solve the riddle between the pipes for some reason.
You can't win on talent alone.
Hey, we have a guy by the name of Aaron Dell who isn't that bad. He's definitely an upgrade over what you have. Let's talk.
Well,
I'm looking at Cornash and Bebo like just sitting with the CUDA doing really well.
Or like Rob Iman saying in the chat, factor fitching, guys. Oilers trade for Jimmy Howard.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I would take that. Hey, housekeeping really quick. 51 of you watching, I want to say thank you so much for doing so. If you would, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification bell because we go live after every single San Jose Sharks game. We also have a weekly wrap-up show called The Pucknologist on YouTube and on our SoundCloud account. And if you will, follow us at Tealtown USA on Instagram and Twitter and find everything at tealtownusa.com.
So is it time?
Oh, no.
I have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
In the words of AJ, who called it a whip around earlier, we'll call this today the NHL whip
reach around.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
There were some games earlier today and some in progress. We'll get to the ones that are final right now. Devils 2, Hurricanes nothing. Blackwood with the shutout as Zaka and Green score for the Devils. In LA, the Knights 4, Kings 1. William Karlsson gets his 15th, Tuck his 13th.
Everybody named Karlsson get a goddamn goal today? Is that what it
yes,
was?
It is Karlsson's score goal day. Apparently, Kopitar with the only goal for the Kings on the afternoon. In Winnipeg, it was a battle of the INN teams. Minnesota beats Winnipeg 3-1.
Wait, what?
Yes.
And Hella Buck hella sucked.
Yes, he was not Hella Buck. Liney with the only goal for the Jets, his 24th. Bartkowski
For the Wild, post-Teal syndrome struck twice.
Yes, Charlie Coyle and Eric Fair.
Oh, where do I know that name, Eric Fair, from?
I don't know.
Mm.
And if I'm not mistaken,
don't break your hand patting yourself on the back too hard there.
And if I'm not mistaken, Matt Bartkowski, I believe he's infamous from TSN 1040 because his mom called into one of our favorite guys up in Vancouver, Sakaris and Price, and had an epic interview. But Wild win 3-1 there. Games in progress right now. Bruins and Sabres are tied up 1-1. No Pominville sighting there yet. Islanders are up 1-0 with Coach Barry Trotz throwing some shade at John Tavares before the game. Valtteri Filppula with his 9th on the season. That's still in the first period. Washington up 1-0. Tom Wilson getting his 11th of the season.
In the chat, Dustin Byfuglien left the game versus Minnesota, unable to put weight on his left leg, having to be assisted off the ice and down the tunnel. And can I just say, oh yeah. All right.
In Tampa, it's still early in the first, but Montreal up 2-0 on the Lightning. Sean Agostino with the goals there. Flyers up 1-0 with Shane Gostisbehere with his 5th of the season over the Panthers. And later on
has to be the most boring game of the day.
and later on, Penguins and Blues in St. Louis at 5, Rangers and Predators in Smashville at 5, Red Wings and Stars at 5 p.m. And then let's see, you got the Blackhawks and Avalanche at 6.
Oh, free game on NHL.com.
Yep. Coyotes and Ducks at 7. And of course, Vancouver taking on Calgary at the Saddle Dome at 7.
And the Canucks, that's not a gimme game like we all thought it was. Remember, Vancouver just beat Edmonton twice in the last 4 games for Edmonton. So that's not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. But now that we've covered all of that, holy hell, what the F is going on in Dallas, people?
What
is going on with the Dallas Stars?
This smells ripe of a Doug Wilson trade, guys. Doesn't he always come in during these times of real panic during some of these players? Oh yeah.
Hey now. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, could you just imagine? It's like, hey, would you like Dylan back for Seguin and Ben? Can you imagine? I mean, Kyle McLaren and Brody talked about it during Twitter missions. That how pissed off is the CEO, and what the hell kind of structure do they have in the front office with Dallas, where there's a GM, a CEO, an owner? I mean, really? There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, people. But I mean, and of course, McLaren and Brody toe the company line and sit there and go, that's something, you really should have kept that in between the locker room doors and blah, blah, blah. No, I can't. I can't tell you how much I love this. This is like the season of honesty in the NHL. We've seen what Couture has been so honest, whereas, it takes a lot of time to gel. Yeah, it takes time to gel. It doesn't take 26 games. I mean, that was the literal quote from Logan Couture. And now you've got this guy for the CEO of the Dallas Stars saying they're playing like fucking horse shit. And I don't have to put in for the jar because that was a direct quote. I don't have to put in for the jar.
But we do have exclusive footage
Here we go.
of Tyler Seguin talking to the Dallas Stars GM.
Playoffs?
That's right. It's Tyler Seguin saying, "Today be right now."
I cannot believe that. I cannot wait to the Dallas game tonight. I want to see how Ben and what's the other guy? Seguin. I cannot wait until both of those guys. I want to watch who is that? The Red Wings at 5:00.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's in 20 minutes. All right, we got 20 minutes left or less.
Dave B. Pilot mentioning to another chatter, Braun LeBlanc and a first and a prospect.
Good luck with that.
Or for either Ben or Seguin.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think honestly, guys, I mean, Seguin just signed that deal, so you would have to be Ben, right?
when Dave B is saying Sasha becomes expectable if we're going to 1C, are we talking about Sasha Chmelevski?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Who's been making a name for himself at the World Juniors. And speaking of that,
be right back.
And speaking of that, first let's go to the Barracuda. They will play. Oh, AJ just left, but Barracuda. They will. Well, you have to get it in somehow, right?
I guess.
But going for the World Juniors, let's come on. Where are you? There we go. Earlier today, Switzerland beat Denmark 4-0. Slovakia and Finland are just about underway, but they haven't put up the score yet. Canada plays at 5 at Rogers Arena against the Czech Republic. At 7:30, the U.S. will take on Sweden in Victoria. So definitely a lot going on there. You'll definitely check out NHL Network. They'll have coverage of the World Junior Games, especially the U.S. games there, where Chmelevski's been getting some love along with former Shark Josh Norris.
Yeah, no, I Josh Norris has been playing really well. You would have loved to see what he would have done on the Barracuda and maybe for the Sharks, but hey, Erik Karlsson, I'm liking the trade more and more now.
This is just going to be a really, really good day for Saturday hockey. I mean, you get the matinee where the Sharks put up a touchdown. Then you get like the Stars with who gave a damn about this Red Wing Stars game until about 24 hours ago. Now everybody wants to watch this game after what's the guy's name? Lights. Okay, so yeah. So once he made all those comments went public on The Athletic, boom, now everyone's going to be watching this game. And then, of course, Flames and Canucks later. There's so many implications. Even I'm going to have to go double screen. I mean, Ducks, Yotes on one and Flames, Canucks on the other.
And like I said, the U.S. In the World Juniors, Chmelevski's on that team, and Benjamin Castle. And Benjamin Castle reminding me that Sasha Chmelevski is from Huntington Beach. That's right. Huntington Beach native Sasha Chmelevski.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, God. Not another beach.
Can we just say that the real MVP of today is Eric's new microphone? Like, his internet connection's been good so far.
Right?
Like, he sounds better.
All right.
And that's no easy task, people.
That's true.
Did he sacrifice a virgin to some, tech god or something?
Do not speak of Amanda like that.
Oh,
don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just saying. All right, guys. So that's it for this one.
Oh, I did want to bring up one other thing, guys.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Now what? Can't you put on a shirt that covers that thatch of whatever is growing on your chest?
No, I wanted to ask you guys about the rumor that
No, you
Patrick
don't.
Marleau gonna not play the rest of his contract out. Gonna maybe get back to the Sharks.
Dude, Nylander and Marner are going to cost money, and Marleau is not in the future roadmap for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, Andy Man calling it a sweater vest. Oh, dear Lord. That's not right to speak of Landy like that. Only I can talk about Landy like that, not you.
Yeah, you don't know me like AJ knows me.
Marleau back in Teal. I don't want to say that that's Wilson's wet dream because it isn't. But I mean, that Marleau's going to sign at the bare minimum. He's going to sign the Nabby deal, the future considerations, one day thing. I mean, obviously that's going to happen. Bringing back Marleau for a season. If Toronto wants to eat most of that and ends up costing the Sharks like $1 million, I don't have a problem with that as long as Marleau knows that he's going to be playing 3-4 line. I don't have a problem with that at all. Again, Marleau, if you think about it, the last 3 to 5 seasons that he was with the Sharks was a fantastic Swiss Army knife. It was like, okay, we need you on the left wing of the second line. Okay, now we need you to center the third line. Well, now we need you on the right wing of the top line. I mean, the guy was the ultimate Swiss Army knife and was consistent at every level. I have no problems bringing Marleau back for the right price. Eric?
And that's the tough part there, because Toronto's going to be in camp crunch when they try to re-sign Matthews and Marner. So it depends on how much they can give up.
And we're also, too, Gardner. Gardner needs a new deal.
And don't forget the amount of free agents the Sharks have going in the offseason with like the likes of Pavelski, Thornton, Donskoy, and if Timo Meyer keeps this up, let's hope he doesn't pull a William Nylander on us.
But Timo, honestly, real talk here, Timo doesn't really have too much leverage. He's an RFA. The one guy that I think you really don't want to lose is Erik Karlsson. I think that's the guy for me that I circle as the most important re-sign. That's
painfully obvious. But I'll tell you this: you want to talk UFAs in deals and whatnot? Who would you rather have next season? Who would you rather next season just for one season? That's all I'm saying. But who would you rather, Donskoy or Marleau?
Ooh,
hush falls over the crowd.
I would say probably Marleau, right? I mean, he's more consistent than Donskoy is at this point. No, more of a known commodity. Quite frankly, faster than Donskoy.
At his advanced age.
Yeah.
I mean, Donskoy, that's, he's 26 right now, but do you think that Donskoy has kind of maybe peaked? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing to get into, because Donskoy 1.9 mil right now. Again, if you can get Toronto to eat a large portion of that hit, where you can bring Marleau back for a song, I think you absolutely do. I mean, you still want to open up space for guys that are at the lower level. I mean, again, I would love to see, and I'm going to be a little bit shocked on the final 42 games that we have to go. I'm going to be shocked if we don't see Francis Perron at least get called up for one.
Yeah, I would assume he's going to get a cup of coffee, but I'm not sure at this point. So, all right, guys. Well, I mean, that was kind of where I wanted to go with that. Just a quick aside, because I was reading that rumor.
No, it's a solid rumor. It's something that you can get into, definitely. But I think that's about it. I don't know how long we've gone for, but I'm sure it's 15 minutes too long. So
we are clocked in at 57 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we should have been out of here 12 minutes ago. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us for a little afternoon delight, if you will. Sharks victorious over the Edmonton Oilers 7-4. We will catch you on New Year's Eve following Sharks versus Calgary. Don't forget, now that I look over here at my trusty calendar, the Sharks start at 6 o'clock. But don't forget, the Barracuda face the minor league affiliate of the Calgary Flames, the Stockton Heat, at just an hour beforehand. So if you all have AHL TV, or if you feel like making the trek to Cowtown, go over to Stockton and watch a little bit of minor league hockey before the Sharks and Calgary. So for Eric Landy, where can they find you on the social media?
Eric Landy, using my first name, Eric, my last name, Landy. And you can find me on all the social media garbage. I got a cool new Teal controller. Isn't that cool,
nice.
Guys?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you tell him.
And then quickly, somebody brought up something in the chat. Marleau's, most of his salary is in signing bonus. So so
Toronto should be able to eat the vast majority, right?
Right, exactly. Toronto would eat the vast majority. Of course, 50% of the annual value of the contract can only be retained. So, if the Sharks wanted to kind of, in real money, they'd probably only pay like $1 million. In salary cap, it's probably closer to what?
1.3.
Yeah,
whatever. Oh Jesus, Lance asking, Landy, do you play NHL 19? Lance, that is a question for off air. You can slide into his DMs. We don't talk fantasy here, and we don't talk gaming here. That not on After Darks. Now, if you want to get Landy and Kura into a whole video game fantasy thing, that's a completely separate show. Slide into their DMs, and I'm sure they will be more than happy to do an After Dark. After all, we have the time this evening, people.
Yeah.
We have more than enough time. So
you do. I have to be back at work at midnight.
that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem, my friend.
And I have to pack because I'm going up to the Bay Area tomorrow. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit, I gotta leave. Okay, anyway. Hey, Kura, where can they find you on the social?
On PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. Thank you very much once again for the birthday wishes. Really appreciate all of them immensely. If you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on Teal Town USA. Or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and of course, smash that subscribe button to our YouTube channel. AJ?
I am AJ_strong on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, on your mother's face, on your father's face, all the face things. Just I'm all over the face is what I'm saying. That's pretty much it.
That could be after dark there, buddy.
You know what?
Hey now.
All right. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Yeah.
Since he's already cursed today, let's just say he's the guy who Flask originally called Fuckface.
That's all I'm saying. And if you missed my 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, ask Laurel about it because it was effing epic. So with that, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel below, hit that notification bell, find everything on tealtownusa.com, and hit us up on Twitter. We just surpassed 2,500 followers today. So we totally appreciate that. And with that, we leave it to Buckeye.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Follow us all over on Teal Town USA. Keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real, Teal. Good night, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Drew Remenda here. You're listening to another podcast from Teal Town USA.